Welcome back. We just finished session 2 of the quest for the spring semester, and as we talked about last week, our topic this semester is Goliath Must Fall. This is a brand new book written by Louis Giglio, so if you want to pick up a copy of this, it's a great book. It helps you dig a little deeper. But we have videos that we're showing of video clips of Louis Giglio each week, and also we're talking about different topics surrounding each session. So today the topic is Fear Must Fall. We talked about last week the story of David and Goliath, and we talked about how the fact that many of us think in the story of David and Goliath that we're David and that we're to take out the giants in our life. But we made the point last week that really we're not David in the story of David and Goliath, that Jesus is David in the story of David and Goliath, that he's already taken care of our giants before we even get onto the battlefield. So that's a very comforting feeling to know that Jesus is in our corner like that if we're followers of his. So today the topic is Fear Must Fall. So we're talking about these different giants in our lives. We talked about fear. And so I was telling the guys that I looked up this week, and there was a study done that the 3 things that men fear the most. So this is specific to men, but I'm sure this is going to apply to women in the audience as well. But the 3 things that men fear the most. The first is men fear rejection. Regardless of where a man is in his life, regardless if he's 20, 30, 40, 70, or 80 years old, men hate rejection. Men are often the initiators in relationships. In other words, they're asking their wife for a date. They're asking their wife to marry them one day. They're initiating sex a lot of times in the relationship. But beyond that, it's actually in business as well. If someone's in sales, they're initiating a sales process. But the fear of rejection really never leaves guys. They may put up a front that says, hey, I'm not scared of anything. I don't care if anybody says no to me. But in our core, many men, most men, matter of fact, fear rejection. So what's the biblical truth out of that? And so we use Romans 8:38 through 39, and I'm convinced that nothing can ever separate us from God's love, neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither our fears for today nor our worries about tomorrow, not even the powers of hell can separate us from God's love. If you can imagine that God's love is greater than any fear that we have in our life. God's love is greater than any rejection that we feel in our lives. So maybe you're feeling rejected today. God's love is greater than that rejection. The number 2 greatest fear of men is irrelevance. All men want to feel like they matter, whether it's a meaningful work that they do, whether it's providing for their family, whether it's simply feeling wanted by their loved ones. The way to put a dagger into the heart of a man is to make him feel like he's not needed. To make him feel like, okay, you just bring home the paycheck, or you're just the handyman around the house. Men want to feel needed. They've got to feel like they're living a relevant life. When men don't feel like they're needed, there's wounds in their life. And when men bring wounds into a relationship, and the other party's wounded also, 2 wounded people ends in not a very good way a lot of times. So putting the confidence and instilling in men is the fact that they are relevant. So I challenge the guys to live a relevant life. I challenge them that the only way to live a relevant life is to pursue a holy life. That they can pursue money, possessions, career, power, they can pursue all these things, but all of it will go away. Living a relevant life is about pursuing a holy life. Just this week, Billy Graham passed away at 99 years old. I would dare to say that most of you watching this video, most of the world says that Billy Graham led a relevant life. I think all of us would agree with that. Why did he live a relevant life? Well, obviously he was used by God in many ways. But he was a man of purpose. He knew what he was here for. He was a man of principle. He was a man that was pursuing a holy life. And so I challenge the guys you may think, hey, Jeff, I'm not Billy Graham. But you're called to be Billy Graham in your circle of influence. Each of us has a circle of influence, whether it's our family, our work. We're all called to be relevant in our circle of influence. So are you the Billy Graham in your circle of influence? So the verse that goes along with that, is Mark 8:35 through 36. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me and for the gospel will save it. What good is it for someone to gain the whole world yet forfeit their soul? Do you feel like you're forfeiting your soul today? Again, to be holy means that all we are and all that we have and all that we consume is all for the glory of God. So are you pursuing a holy life? None of us are perfect, but are you pursuing, am I pursuing a holy life on a daily basis? The third most fearful thing for men is disappointment. Men in their core do not want to be a disappointment to the people that they love. They don't want to do something wrong or disappoint their loved ones, because that turns into irrelevance, and irrelevance turns into rejection. So in a way, all three of these are tied together. Men may hear when they go home, you're a poor excuse for a husband. You're never around when I need you. You never understand my needs. I'd rather be alone than be let down all the time. These are all daggers of a man's heart, feeling like he's been a disappointment. So my encouragement to guys is, one is, some of that may be true. So if that's true, pursue a holy life. Pursue a holy life so none of those charges can be made against your life. But the biblical truth there is Romans 8:15. For you did not receive the spirit of slavery to fall back into fear, but you have received the spirit of adoption as sons, by whom we cry, Abba, Father. There's a Father who loves you. There's a Father who loves me, that wants you to bring you in his arms and say, you're not a disappointment. So I don't know if these three fears apply to your life, but I challenge the guys to look at that. And then Louis Giglio goes on in the video that we showed to talk about the reasons why we're afraid. So we'll put that on the handout. We have that on the handout that we'll post on our Facebook page. But again, I would challenge you. What is the Goliath in your life? Is it fear? We're going to take a different one of these over the next couple weeks, but is fear a giant in your life? I love this quote that was in the book. Jesus steps into the valley of our fear and says, let me be in charge of your life. In the process, he deals with the things that are causing you to fear. It's not fear itself, it's what's causing that fear. And also he says, fear is faith in the enemy. Fear is faith in the enemy. So what do you have your faith in today? Do you have your faith in trying to control your situation? Do you have your faith in your fear? I would challenge you, I would challenge me to, anytime that fear comes up, to say, Jesus, I'm putting that on you. I know you're going to take care of it. It's on you, so that I don't have to fear anymore. So be sure and join us next week, guys. If you're in the Alexandria area, feel free to come to the Quest. You can still jump in, 6 a.m. every Friday morning here at Calvary. Jump in at any time. If you can't make it, we'll continue to post these video updates each and every week. And be sure and check out our Facebook page throughout the week. We'll have quotes from the Quest come through the Facebook page. And of course, we'll put our handout on there as well.